If your food finishes too quickly, your groceries never seems to be enough, or your meals don't taste the way you expect, you might be making one of the 7 common cooking mistakes. Number 6 surprised me. Draw your seat and come closer. This is the way we want to look at it from my kitchen's perspective. Number 1 on my list will be that you're buying without a meal plan. No, my darling, you don't necessarily need to be buying extra if you don't have a meal plan. I think for the first time I had to get this meal planner. It helped me to, in a way readjust my budget. Do you know what happens when you get a meal planner? Even if it's not a meal planner, like an application, all you need to do is get you a timetable that plans what your regular meals looks like. I'll say if you have pasta for breakfast, if you have eggs for breakfast, that should be the major part of your meal, right? Of your planner. And if you have a lot of rice as lunch or dinner, it should be a major thing to buy. Even though you don't do more of noodles or gari, swallows, why do you need to buy them so much? But then again, you have to keep it healthy. That's the number 1 thing. Please plan so that you don't over budget and overbuy and you don't end up using. I'll give you a typical example. Sometimes you buy and you realize that at the end of the month, the things you bought, you still have more than enough. You've not exhausted them. That's to say that you're going beyond your normal budget. Number 2 is poor food storage that causes spoilage. This one I wouldn't emphasize much because you know what it means. You can't be buying food or preparing food in bulk and you're not storing them properly. Hello? And when I say storing them properly, there's a way you store them, and some people will find it difficult to utilize that food. If you're to store your meal, yes, you've stored the food in the fridge, maybe in the freezer, and the person that was meant to consume that food finds it difficult defrosting or does not have the patience to defrost the food and eat. So what happens to the food? You keep it in the fridge for as long as, and at the end they throw it away. So when I say spoilage, it doesn't necessarily mean that it actually spoils. It just means that they're just tired of the food and they had to throw away the meal. Next time, if you have to portion control, you put it in the fridge where it's easy to just pull out, microwave for at least 5 minutes and they eat. Okay. So you see, these are the small mistakes that makes us spend more than necessary. Number 3 on my list is using too much seasoning or oil. My darling, I'll give you a typical example. Back then I'll buy 10 liters of oil and in a month we are done using it without seeing the reward. And you know how much oil, the vegetable oil, how much it is not cost effective at all. I had to switch things up. Guess what I did? I got myself an air fryer. You want to fry egg, you want to fry plantain, you want to fry yam, your chicken, your meat, whatever frying you want to do. It's important to control the amount of expenses on the oil. So when you switch up things like using an air fryer to fry your chicken, your beef, whatever thing you want to fry, your goat's meat, and then just leave the vegetable oil for your veggies, then that makes sense. Or when you want to just fry 3 fingers of plantain for your kids, you're not going to use too much oil. So that is it. You don't need to buy too much oil. Just switch up things that will replace that oil. Use an air fryer instead. And then, did I tell you number 4 is that your cooking portion that are too large or too small. You're buying 1 big pot and then you realize that somebody is not obviously going to eat that food. Yes, in your house, because you don't have a meal planner, you forgot that Mr. A or Mrs. B or child C or child D is obviously not going to enjoy that meal with you. You cook a lot, you end up throwing them away. You're tired of eating, or better still, you're cooking too small. They have to still go and buy food outside. That will also touch your pockets. You're not saving any money. The budget you did is not working. Your groceries are obviously above your usual expenses, and because you're earning 200,000 or 500,000, you're obviously wasting more money in these things. All right, number 5 is you are throwing away leftovers instead of repurposing them. Repurposing meals has never been a thing for a lot of people, and not because you do not know what to do, but because you've not been intentional about it. So let me tell you how this is done. When you are having that remnant of beans, which everybody just do not want to, make it into rice and beans. They will eat it. Repurpose your swallow. You can obviously make that soup to become like a porridge. You add yam or you add plantain. Just repurpose that meal. It will come out good and you enjoy it. Then number six, don't cut me out. This part is where I got guilty. My mom told me so and I was like, yeah, it's true, I did it and I don't want to do so. Cooking on unnecessarily high heat. I learned this much pretty much late. because I was always cooking on high heat. Oh, high heat, very fast food, finish. Before you know it, in 10 minutes, you're done cooking. No, any good meal is cooked on medium to low heat, if you know. Because tell me, why do I have to cook my veggies on high heat and it will burn? Especially when you're cooking your soups, native soups with water leaf, the thing just goes from green to black, and by the time you're adding your ugu to that soup, it's obviously changing color. It's not green and enticing. And we all eat with our eyes first before you do what? You eat with your mouth. Let's say you made that meal for children or for adults that are still picky eaters, and you want it to be palatable from the main sighting of the meal, and you do not make it on low heat where the greenness will be retained even after your meal is ready, the taste will be fantastic. If you cook it on high heat, you're not going to achieve that freshness, that attractive look, and they're not going to eat it. At the end, you eat, and remember, you store for as long as, and at the end, nobody's eating it. They'll still end up buying food outside. Why not reduce the heat when you're cooking? Because it affects the flavor, taste of the meal afterwards. It doesn't also give that pleasant look that everybody needs. So the last one will be that you are not prepping your ingredients before cooking. If you had a meal planner and you obviously know that you're going to cook beans with rice and then with stew, rice and beans with stew, and you want to add some orishi like carrots, green bell pepper, and all these other things, you've not factored that in when you're making your groceries list. You're obviously going to overspend. And at the end, if you're not careful, you may end up saying, you know what, I'm not sure this is going to turn out the way I want. I might as well just buy food from outdoor. I'll source my meal, and that will be extra expenses. These are the clear things that you're obviously doing that is not saving your money, it's not economical, it's not helping you eat healthy, you're wasting food, you're not storing them properly, you're not obviously not eating well. You're definitely going to spend more money. So if at the end of the day you realize that your groceries are sometimes they could be out of stock, out of the shelf, but it doesn't mean that you actually consume them. You're actually spending more money doing what you have been doing because you're not paying attention. Intentionality in your kitchen is very key. Very, very key. Get a meal planner, store properly, make it enticing, ensure that you're putting them in a portion control plate where people can easily eat, and then reduce the quantity you make per time based on the type of meal. There are some meals you make, you don't need to chase people around to eat the meal. They will definitely finish it without your consent. And there are some that you literally beg and plead, at the end you trash them. Don't be like that. So what have you been doing that's really helped you reduce the cost when it comes to your groceries? I want you to have the comment section, and see you next time. Subscribe. Bye.